an All-American final on Canadian hardcourt. Ben Shelton against Brandon Nakashima. Two players from the same country, 23 seeds apart, and separated on center court by something far more specific than a ranking gap. The final scoreline reads 6-3, 7-6, clean, decisive on paper. But the match's real story lives inside three numbers the casual viewer scrolls straight past 76% versus 52%. That's the second serve win percentage gap between Shelton and Nakashima in Thursday's National Bank Open final in Montreal. 24 percentage points. On a fast, hard court surface where the returner holds every mechanical advantage against a softer delivery, that gap isn't just a tactical edge. It's a structural mismatch that made Nakashima's route to the title functionally impossible before either player had eaten their third service game. Ben Shelton has spent 2 seasons hovering on the edge of elite. The mechanics were always there. The left handed serve launching at angles, the right handed majority have spent their careers not preparing for, the flat forehand that absorbs space rather than generating from scratch, the deuce side geometry that makes his first strike patterns genuinely singular on tour. What lagged was the poise underneath the talent. Multiple Grand Slam exits, where the serve stayed razor sharp, but the second and third ball decisions drifted under the weight of big moments. You could always see what he was capable of. You couldn't always see it on the scoreboard. Montreal changed that conversation. Nakashima arrived at this final ranked 28 in the world but playing well above that number. His game, relentless baseline defense, exceptionally high contact quality, the ability to extend rallies past the point where power players grow comfortable, had already done damage this tournament. Against Shelton specifically, the tactical question was never whether Nakashima had the ground strokes to compete. He does. The question was whether his return game could consistently punish Shelton's second delivery enough to manufacture real breakpoint pressure. The answer arrived almost immediately, and it wasn't the answer Nakashima needed. Here's the trap Nakashima fell into, and it's a trap built directly into the mathematics of playing Shelton. When 69% of deliveries are first serves, which is exactly where Shelton sat on Thursday, the returner is already operating in a deficit from the first game. Almost 7 in every 10 return games begin with the returner absorbing pace, depth, and left handed angle simultaneously. The windows for aggressive return strikes are narrow. The windows for building the 3 and 4 ball rally Nakashima needs to on the baselines are narrower still. But the truly decisive damage came on the second ball. 76% of points won behind the second serve, not 65, which would already be elite. 76. That figure means even on the delivery, where Nakashima had the best possible information, the slower speed, the predictable landing zone, the extra fraction of a second to load, Shelton still won 3 points in every 4. Zero double faults on the day locked the entire structure in. Not once did Shelton float a tentative second delivery. Not once did the pressure of a Masters 1000 final produce a conservative bobble. The same commitment was there in Game 3 as it was in the tiebreak. The break point data is where this final becomes genuinely striking. Nakashima earned zero break point opportunities across the entire match. Zero. That means he never once reached deuce on a Shelton service game and pushed through to a genuine swing moment. Shelton absorbed every return game and gave Nakashima's pressure absolutely nowhere to land. That's not good fortune. That's Shelton's serve construction doing precisely what it was designed to do, compressing the return options so completely that even when Nakashima read the direction correctly, the pace and angle still removed the aggressive counter. Shelton himself converted 2 of 4 breakpoint chances at the other end, 50% efficiency, against a defender who covers the hard court as diligently as Nakashima does. Getting to 4 opportunities in a single final is already a signal that the return was sharp and aggressive. Closing 2 of them is the distance between a scoreline that reads competitive and one that reads comfortable. The receiving points figure seals the argument. Shelton won 20 receiving points across the full match. Nakashima won 9. That 11-point gap in return efficiency across a two-set final is the clearest possible indicator of how completely Shelton serve dominated both sides of the net. Not just his own service games, but the psychological territory behind Nakashima's as well. Watch Shelton between points in the second set, and something becomes visible that no stat sheet captures cleanly. He moves to the service mark identically regardless of the score. The ball bounced before the toss, the pause, the pace of the preserve routine. It's the same in game 1 of the first set as it is at 5 all in the second, and it's the same in the tie break. Opponents absorb this. The absence of visible tension is itself a form of psychological pressure. When the player across the net reads only stillness back at them, regardless of how much urgency they're generating, the emotional arithmetic begins to tilt. Nakashima has genuine mental fortitude. His run to this final proved it repeatedly. But even composed players struggle when the opponent's body language refuses to confirm the pressure being applied. Eight aces on the day showed Nakashima was hunting free points, not defaulting to passive rally construction. He understood the serve was his best equalizer. He got his aces. He still lost the tiebreak 4 to 7. The second set tiebreak was the match's hinge point, and Shelton treated it like a serve off he'd already rehearsed 100 times. Left handed tiebreak delivery has very specific tactical advantages that compound under pressure. The wide serve into the deuce court pushes right handed returners directly onto their backhand side hip, the weaker side when stretched wide. The T serve into the ad court jams the body at an angle that removes clean extension from the forehand swing. Shelton has both of these deliveries loaded, polished, and accurate under pressure. In a tiebreak, where the serve becomes half the entire match in miniature, his delivery doesn't tighten. It sharpens. Nakashima won 4 points in that breaker. Shelton won 7. The 7-6 scoreline sounds tight in the retelling, but the control was never genuinely in question once the tiebreak had started. Then look at the total points won across the full match: 65 for Shelton, 53 for Nakashima. 12 points. In a match that produced a tiebreak and looks competitive on the surface, the actual point distribution was never particularly close. The second set had length without real danger. Shelton was always controlling. The points just took longer to confirm what the stats had been saying since game 1. A National Bank Open title for Ben Shelton at 22 years old shifts the conversations about his ceiling, not by increments, but completely. This is a Masters 1000, the level sitting directly below a Grand Slam in field depth, pressure, and ranking points. Arriving